What up, guys? Today we're going to be showing you one of the coolest decks I've actually stumbled across in the Duelist Cup Top 100. This is going to be a Punk Therion Terra Tiger Auroradon deck. 40 cards, straight up 40 cards. It runs a almost full pure Punk engine. It runs the 3 Foxy Tunes, Ogre Dances, Yamen, 1 Wagon, 1 Sharakusai, all the notable Synchro 8s, but it also runs this very interesting Ancient Fairy Dragon of Auroradon package. As you can see, this is kind of one of the alternate lines where you basically just get 2 7-stars on the field and you go into the full Tomahawk into Auroradon line. As you can see, we actually use the Punk engine, kind of like Sun Avalon uses or Rika uses the Sun Avalon engine or like Adventure as a way to get rid of opposing hand traps before you go into your main combo. Though of course, you know, as the DC Cup Top 1 has shown us, it's pretty. You can win a lot of games just off the back of their Punk package if you get the hand trap too much. So now we're getting to the main line, right? Basically get Sprite Elf pointing at Mega Phantom Beast, and then Mega Phantom Beast here now, of course, is going to go find the O line from the deck. O-line and 3 token make TG Hyper Librarian. O-line token effect activates. We reborn the tuner, and then go again. We play Garden Rose Flora. Draw a card, destroy the field spell, get a 2-star. And then we go into 7-star, go into, of course, my probably favorite card in the game, Shooting Riser Dragon. Dump Snow. Shooting Riser Dragon, of course, is a interrupt on the opponent's turn because it allows you to synchro summon on their main phase. Sometimes you keep this, sometimes you don't, depending on what else you have. Here I decided to keep going a little bit, completely forgetting that you can't actually fusion summon with Sharakusai while it's out. So we went to Dragon Drive. Dragon Drive throw us another card. Dragon Drive searches for Ogre Dance, and then this, of course, summons back Wagon. And then we'll use our 8 and 3 left over to make Psychic and Punisher. It's not going to be a great Psychic and Punisher because we only have a 200 HP difference, but if they go into battle, they lose anyways at this point. Drew into fucking hand traps. Holy shit. This deck also runs like 10 hand traps or something, which is actually crazy given how much shit you're fitting in. So before we go on, let's see what we have, right? We have 1 Snow in Graveyard, okay. We have Shooting Riser Dragon, which brings out the Amazing Dragon, which is 3 bounces. We have Psychic and Punisher. Then we have Sprite Elf into Masquerena, into Unicorn, right? So that's the 3rd one. Into Snow again. And then, of course, we have two hand traps and a Imperm. So it is a crazy amount of interrupts. And they're structured in such a way that it's very hard for most normal decks to break through. Yeah, just the Snow Recursion engine is too high. We already have 21 cards. That's basically, what, 3 banishes? 3 sets of banishes from the graveyard. So it's a Source Soul. They drew a pretty disgusting hand, right? They got the Duster, they got the Desires, they had Ash, they had the fucking Incredible Ecclesia also. So here we're just gonna pop Moye, force him to have something else. Does this. Now we see 2 things on the screen, right? We're just going to synchro into Amazing Dragon. Of course, being protected under Elf, so Imperm or whatever, or actually they can't even Imperm. But just, you know, just for targeting protection. And then they here trying to base desperately make Cheng Ying, and we, of course, there were still like 3 more interrupts left. I have 2 more interrupts, right? Snow. No, we had 3 more interrupts. We had Snow twice, Masquerena into Unicorn. So we've only basically used up only half of our interrupts. It's pretty resilient versus things like Evenly Matched, versus things like Dark Will a little more, just because you use a lot of things in like the graveyard and hand. We also had back row, so like if we were smarter and instead of getting Wagon, we got back the Madam Spider, we would have had another Imperm, right? We would have had 2 Imperms on the field, basically. 2 imperms on the field, 2 hand traps, and then like 6 interrupts on board. It's crazy. And this is after our like initial line was hand trapped, right? They actually ashed us once, which is 1 interruption, and we still played perfectly through that. Here's the list, as you guys can see. We have, of course, the Max C Ash package. Every deck has it. We play the extra crossout designator because you don't want to get Max Seed in this deck. And so we play all the ones that we can actually get access to. We have an Ogre because this can be searched off of Dragon Drive. We're playing the Imperm and Nibiru. This Imperm is just really nice, and Nibiru, of course, is both a crossout target and it's a threat top end for our Maxi challenge. Pretty standard. And of course, we're playing the for the Punk package, like we said, Fuser, Field Searcher, Madam Spider, which fetches Gabu. This is dangerous Gabu. Yeah, you can play this, or you can play Nashiwari Surprise. The pop, but I prefer the Imperm. This is just a pick your poison kind of deal. And then of course 3 Xiamen. We played Terra Tiger. It's one of the only like true bricks in the deck. If you draw it, it turns off your whole empowerment engine. But this is very surprising. The player that played this, I've never seen this engine played anywhere else before, and I can see why, right? It's requires a discard to just get a level 4 out of your deck, which most decks normally, even like I tried this in Dragon Link, you can't pay this cost. But because you have Punk Jam Extreme Session to like fuel you with cards and teach you Hyper Librarian to like backfill you once you already get your combo started, this discard 1 cost is actually very marginal. Like you usually have more cards in your hands than you can use. So yeah, I can see why this pretty much doesn't work anywhere else but here. So we play the Terra Tiger. Of course, the Fairy Tale Snow. You can dump with Shooting Riser. You can discard it with Foxy Tune. It's pretty easy to get rid of out of your hand. We even have the Unicorn, but and then the 2 Deer Note. 2 Deer Note is pretty nice because if you draw 1, you're not like cut out of your Synchro 8s, which is pretty important. As you can see, if you don't draw Empowerment, the deck actually has a way to get into your Tomahawk engine with 8s and 4s, which is really fucking weird. Or not even 8s and 4s. You have 8s and you have a 3 Levier to get into end test and then to make another 7. It's really crusty, but it works very well, especially since by the time you get through your full Punk engine, they pretty much burn through all their interruptions usually. Of course, 3 Foxy Tune, 3 Ogre Dance. Like I said, completely fat Punk package, every single Punk card possible. We play a pretty small Therion package, right, for our AFD. We play 1 Regulus, 1 Bull. You don't need Regulus. This you can actually play something else in this slot. Really, the most important thing is because Therion this Coliseum actually gets you a level 7, and because Deer Note and the Terra Tiger are both level 4s, you're pretty much always guaranteed a way to get out a level 7 into your rank 7 Tomahawk. Then of course we have the Punk Field Spell. This thing's fucking crazy. 2 cards on your turn, 1 card on your opponent's turn. It's basically a slightly less broken version of Runic Fountain. And then, of course, 2 Emergency Teleport. You're in the archetype. Emergency E-Telly, right? It's but you only get 2 here, of course, whatever. And then, of course, our normal hand trap package. In the extra deck, pretty much every single card is going to be used in your combo, which is the one thing that's kind of awful. If they somehow clear your board, you are boned. Like, you have no recovery. You can usually get there with Psychic and Punisher and, like, recurring your Punk stuff, but yeah, you don't have a lot of recovery, unfortunately. This kind of goes with the territory of these type of Auroradon decks, right? They almost never have real good recovery. It's also the reason why you can't play things like Prosperity, because you literally need like 14 generally, like depending on how you get into your combo, it's either like basically 14 cards or like 12 cards. Very yeah, it's very extra deck heavy, and you can't really get around that. But yeah, so end test is part of our if you don't draw Empowerment line, or if you don't draw this Coliseum, basically it guarantees us with only Xiamen on the field, either through E-Telly, of course, or normal summoning it, into the full Tomahawk line. it's pretty long, but basically the point is you make Dragon Drive and you make Leviair. Dragon Drive and Leviair can contact fuse out Elder Entity Entis, and then Elder Entity Entis and whatever Leviair summons back from Banish, which Extreme Session lets you banish. Make sure you always banish level 3 tuner. Makes AFD, and AFD turns your Punk Field spell into Disc Coliseum, and Disc Coliseum gets you your aim, which equips the Deer Note, and then you have 2 7s, and then you make Tomahawk, and then you go to your full combo line. It's very roundabout, and I'm really surprised this deck works at all, especially in this 40 card package. Holy shit. This is some like crazy OCG deck building that I would have never thought. The closest thing I'd seen to this is like MBT's field spell like combo deck with Union Hanger and stuff like that, but yeah, very interesting. Of course, Rising Carp for the ability to get out like Deer Note plus one of the 3 tuners or whatever else you have in your deck. TG Hyper Librarian, combo card, combo card, combo card, combo card, combo card. Not always combo card, right? Sometimes you actually only play the normal Punk line, like you just make a level 8, have the Fuser on board, and then you make PvP Psychic and Punisher and the Amazing Dragon on the opponent's turn. Like that's like the basic Punk shit. You usually don't go into that unless you're really, really hand trapped, but it's not bad. Leviair, of course, like I said, combo engine requirement, Tomahawk engine requirement, Masquerena also an engine requirement, but it is brought back with Sprite Elf all the time in order to get double interrupts out of these Fairy Tale Snow, Unicorn, of course, and Auroradon. As you can see, there's basically no flex spots outside of this King Regulus spot, and I guess you can change. You can drop the Nibiru for something else if you want. I prefer it in almost most decks, I think. Yeah, Sprite kind of screws you over, but you know, you generally need more than a single hand trap against Sprite anyways. And when you have 2 hand traps, the Nibiru goes hard. Yeah, this is the deck. Actually, why don't we take a look at another one of these. I have several one of these where I go second, and you can kind of see how we play. I would say it's pretty strong. I mean, it feels like it deserves a top 100 slot just on the back of its creative deck building alone. And it is like a very interesting take, at least for the main deck, and even the side deck for a Auroradon. So this is obviously some kind of max seed deck. So we're gonna Sprite deck. As soon as we see the normal summon in the level 2, we start trying to max seed. It doesn't work, but it burns their Ash. And we have the second hand trap to stop the gigantic Sprite. It doesn't look like he has much else. I mean, you don't summon Maxi unless you're desperate, right? So this is a pretty good infirm. This guy's gonna set 2 here, and we're gonna go. So our hand is a little weird until we drew Empowerment. As soon as I see it Empowered, I mean, I'm like, oh, well then we have pretty much Called by the Grave is dead here, right? Because there are no hand traps in hand, so Called by is a free discard. And as soon as I see this, I'm like, oh, we can just go into 2 rank 7s like that, right? This is the rank 4, and Foxy Tune will be able to get one of the rank 3 tuners. So, in order to start baiting stuff out, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring out Wagon. I'm going to bring out Wagon instead of Xiamen, and this actually worked out. Because you're going to see here, my opponent actually, has a Solemn Judgment here, and he opts. If this was Xiamen, he might have actually Solemn Judgment it. But because this is Wagon, he's like, oh, it's just Wagon. I'm just gonna, negate the field spell instead. And, well, we'll see how well this guy turns out. Go into our accelerated combo line, right? 7 and 3, make AFD. We have Deer Note in grave already, but we also have Terror Tiger, right? So this is deterministic dump. Get this Coliseum searches Ein. And then, yeah, we're off to the races, right? Tomahawk. I guess we'll show the full combo line just so you guys can see it again. But pretty simple. 5 tokens, make Masquerena, make Elf, make Auroradon summon 3. And then, yeah, O-Lion. PG Librarian, O-Lion, yeah. You know, reborn O-Lion, basic shit. I think the ability for your deck, like, to play the full Punk engine, right, and have a very, like, the same inboard as any Punk deck, while also being, like, this scary-ass combo deck, if you do manage to push through your opponent's interrupts, is very nice. You also kind of get, like, a lot of Punk decks have this issue where if you Ash Foxy Tune or if you like interrupt the Xiamen normal summon, they're basically dead, right? Your deck actually has a lot of ways to play. Because if they interrupt your Xiamen and you have Empowerment in hand, it's lights out, right? You just fuck them over, you make Tomahawk, and then you just go into your full combo. It's crazy. Same thing with, yes, some of the other stuff you could do. Just, you have like a very resilient game plan, and you have like a real plan B. Like some of the other Auroradon decks before, like just did not have a real plan B, right? You have a pure Punk engine that is that's like, well, not like the strongest thing and doesn't have like great follow-up. It'll get this job done. And if you need to go into it, it's not the worst thing. And sometimes you also get the, of course, the Therion draws where you're able to get out Regulus and you have like a full protection the entire way with like an Omni Negate. But yeah. Alright, this is it. Hope you enjoyed the deck. Try it out and see how it goes. I'm Platinum with it, and I think this is the deck I'm probably going to choose to try to climb the Diamond this season. It's either this or some kind of weird Drytron variant, but we'll see. Try it out yourselves, see how the deck runs, get back to me. Alright, Retro out.